shock and horror of that tragic day have subsided, replaced now with an emptiness, a longing for an innocence lost. We come remembering those who lost their lives in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. We are mindful of the sacrifice of public servants who demonstrated the greatest love of all by laying down their lives for friends.
Talking earlier, it's hard to believe it's been 17 years. It's one of those moments we all go back and remember exactly what we were doing when it occurred. But it's also a stark reminder on how the world has changed and how important the job that you do each and every day on behalf of the citizens of Quincy, and for that matter, firefighters and police throughout our nation. We've seen the changes that you have to deal with each and every day. And I know the citizens of the city are mindful of the great work you do each and every day responding to the call. Let us also be mindful for all those men and women who have donned the uniform, who are serving throughout the world as we're here today, to fight for the cause for peace and protect this land. As we saw after 9/11, a resurgence of patriotism, of really community coming together. Goodness always overcomes evil. We saw that happen. The world has changed, but still the greatest country in the world. And our first responders and our veterans put on the line each and every day. May God continue to bless you and your work, and may God continue to bless our veterans.
And while those attacks were a cowardly act against innocent civilians, I remember quite well that America's response was something to behold, and it still fills me with pride. Starting with the 343 firefighters and 60 police officers and 8 EMTs, every one of them with a union card in their wallet, who sprinted up the stairs at the South Tower and the North Towers of the World Trade Center, while office workers streamed from those buildings. I remember that the newspapers first reported that some of the firefighter rescue teams had climbed to the 30th or 40th floor and were turned back by smoke and flames. But months later, as a member of the Congressional Oversight Committee looking at the lead up to the attacks and the response on that day, I remember listening to recordings of radio transmissions during that day. And we heard dozens of transmissions from firefighter rescue teams as high as the 82nd floor of the South Tower before that tower collapsed. So think about it. Wearing full gear, carrying oxygen tanks, axes, rakes, emergency lighting, stretchers, first aid kits, full gear. They clambered 82 floors in the dark of the South and North Towers as everyone else was running for their lives. Stunning heroism. We should also remember that peace-loving nations of the world are strongest when we are united against terrorism. I know that some of the youngest people here probably weren't even alive 17 years ago, but like Pearl Harbor, this event was a painful reminder that must become part of our national consciousness for two reasons. One is to honor those who perished on that day, and the other is so that we make sure that such attacks on our country never happen again. Thank you all for remembering. May God bless our first responders and bless the city of Quincy, and may God continue to bless these United States of America. Thank you.